eventually selected for inclusion in the New Testament? And more specifically, why this one and not others?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I need to give a little bit of background. The books, the 27 books of the New Testament did not come into existence. They weren't collected right away. There were a long period of debates. I think most of my students think that, the New Testament kind of descended from the sky a few months after Jesus died, and it wasn't that way. The books are written, Jesus died around the year 30 of the Common Era. The first book Christian book we have, was written around the year 50. It's the book of First Thessalonians, as it turns out. The book about the year 50. The last book was written around the year 120. So the books that later came into the New Testament are all written between 20 and 100 years after Jesus' death. Other books were written at the time, which is what this question is alluding to. Other books were written at the time. Other Gospels were written, other letters, other apocalypses, and church fathers and church leaders had to debate which books should we see as authoritative. From very early on, Christians believed that books could guide their actions because they believed the Christians inherited a Bible. Christians started out, Jesus was a Jew and his followers were Jews. They had the Old Testament, what we call the Old Testament. They had the Hebrew Bible. Christians then, who started believing Jesus, thought that there needed to be books that expanded it to include this way of salvation that Jesus provided. But there's so many books with so many different points of view and different understandings and different theologies and so how do we know which ones? And so they decided they've got to have a collection of some kind. The collection took a long time, and to the surprise of a lot of people, the collection was not decided by the Emperor Constantine in the year 325 or at the Council of Nicaea, despite the claims of that inimitable historian Dan Brown in the Da Vinci Code. Dan Brown, and a lot of people think that. No, the first time, they didn't even talk about it at the Council of Nicaea, which books should be in. The first time anybody put our 27 books together and said, these are the books, was in the year 367 by an author named Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, Egypt. That did not solve the problem then. There continued to be debates. The book of Revelation was the last one to get in because people found it problematic for a variety of reasons. There was one other apocalypse that almost made it in. In the 4th century, there was another apocalypse that people don't know about today, but it's a fantastic book called the Apocalypse of Peter. The Apocalypse of Peter did not make it in.
Yeah, that's mentioned by a person who specifically asked about